You think Glock owns the game? That it's unbeatable? Well, think again, because 2025's full of surprises, and 2026, it's coming fast. And some of the best handguns this year don't even wear that G logo on the slide. Yep, I said it. If you're about to buy another Glock, hit pause, because these pistols do the same job, some even better, and they're flying way under the radar. One of them is lighter, one has better recoil, and one might just outshoot your precious Glock 19. This isn't some Glock hate campaign. This is what Glock doesn't want you to know. Stick around, because number one on this list, it's gonna mess with your head. So let's get going. You ever pick up a gun and instantly feel like Glock's been lying to you all this time? That's what happened the first time I wrapped my hand around the Hellcat Pro. Now look, I've carried a Glock 19 for years, trusted it, defended it, even defended the price. But this damn thing, it threw all that out the window in under 2 mags. We're talking full 15-round capacity in a package slimmer than Glock's so-called carry guns. The slide, optics ready right out of the box. Grip texture, like sandpaper had a baby with a race gun. And the recoil, I don't know what Springfield did, but it's like shooting butter. Glock 43X feels like a twitchy chihuahua next to this. But here's the worst part. It made me angry because nobody talks about it. Glock fanboys pretend it doesn't exist, reviewers dance around it. Why? Because it works too damn well that it makes Glock look lazy. So if you're about to drop money on another safe little G19, you might want to hold that thought. Because the next gun, it's even quieter and it's coming for Glock's throne. Let me see something that's gonna upset a few people. This tiny Beretta, it shoots like it's got a damn grudge against Glock. You ever held a gun that feels angry in your hand? Not sloppy, not cheap, just mad. That's the APX A1 Carry. It doesn't ask for respect, it demands it. And the moment you press that trigger, it proves why it shouldn't be ignored. I carried this thing for a week straight just to test it. Pocket, waistband, appendix, you name it. It disappeared like a ghost, but on the range, it barked like a full-size, flat shooting, sharp break, and faster reset than Glock's ever managed on a single stack. And here's the kicker. People overlook it because it doesn't scream tactical. No rail, no ego, just performance. Glock's been milking that polymer legacy, but Beretta, they came to play dirty. So if you're still stuck in the Glock 43 mindset, this might just be the slap you need to wake yourself up. Next one, it doesn't just compete, it embarrasses. Alright, here's a question that'll start a bar fight. Does trigger really matter? Because if it does, the Glock fanboys might want to leave the room. The Walther PDP Compact has a trigger so clean, so smooth, it makes Glocks feel like you're stepping on a garden rake. Now don't get me wrong, Glock's striker fire setup is proven, but this feels like the German engineers were daring anyone to top it, and good luck trying to do that. But it's not just the trigger, the grip texture feels like it's been custom stitched for your hand. The slide cuts looks aggressive, but they're surgical, and the way it returns to target, you would swear it had cheat codes on it. And here's the part that's gonna start wars in the comments. If Glock dropped a gun tomorrow with this exact setup and stamped a G on the side, it'd sell out in 30 seconds. No joke. So yeah, Walther's not playing fair anymore, and if you've actually shot this back-to-back with a Glock and still picked the Glock, you either love pain or love brand names. Either way, I'm not judging, but the comments section certainly will. They don't put this gun in flashy YouTube thumbnails. You ever wonder why this pistol gets whispered about, but never shouted from the rooftops? Effin dropped the 509 Compact MRD like a warning shot. Not a showpiece, not a flex. A brutalist sidearm. If you want beauty contests, scroll right past. But if you're after a red dot ready tank that handles like a scalpel, this one's for you. Shoots smoother than a Glock 19, outperforms it in slight serrations, modularity, and optics integration straight from the box. No $300 add-ons just to bring it up to speed. And recoil? It snaps back like a coiled spring, but in control, never chaotic. It doesn't babble about heritage or brand loyalty, it just shows up and survives. But here's the catch, most Glock guys won't even look at it. Too different, too non-Glock. And well, that's fine. Let them miss out. The folks who own this, they're not shouting, they're too busy drilling bullseyes. But I have to ask, are you the kind of guy who needs the hurt to validate your pick, or are you built different? Think on that. Stick around though, the next one will make half the comment section choose sides. You ever walk into a gun shop, spot a Taurus on the shelf, and instantly skip it? That's not a habit, that's decades of built-in bias. And the GX4, it feeds on that bias quietly, patiently, then blindsides you. This isn't some flashy range toy trying to get likes. It's a stripped down, street ready micro compact that just refuses to die. No marketing circus, no legacy narrative. Just a gun that works when it shouldn't. And that's the problem. Because the second you acknowledge it's legit, you have to ask a harder question. Why am I paying double for something I can't shoot any better? Glock doesn't want you asking that. Nobody in the polymer mafia does actually. But if budget starts beating brand, the whole illusion shatters. People will defend their Glocks in the comments and let him. The GX4 doesn't need defense, it just needs one shot to change your mind. Because this pistol dares to ask, when the shooting starts, do you trust your gun or your wallet? You ever seen a gun built like a tank and still ignored like it doesn't even exist? That's the Ruger American. No hype, no cult fanbase, no Instagram thirst. Just raw industrial power sitting on the shelf while people grab plastic pistols that cost more and deliver less. That's the trap Glock doesn't want you to notice. This beast was designed for war. Full steel chassis, zero flex, no nonsense grip angle. Recoil feels like a slap instead of a punch, and it keeps coming back on target like it's magnetic. The trigger, clean break, no drama. The kind of gun you forget about until you fire it and ask, wait a minute, why isn't everyone talking about this? It may not be pretty and it's not famous, but it's everything Glock isn't, especially when price comes into play. And the next one? Oh boy, it's not just underrated, it's uncomfortable. Some of you might rate and some might switch. Let's get to it. Nobody expected this thing to even show up to the party, let alone steal some of the spotlight. Built by a company that used to get laughed at for selling budget AR kits online, this compact striker-fired pistol came out swinging and it didn't flinch. It's not just the price, mind you, it's the fact that it performs stupidly close to a Glock 19 for half the cost. Slide cut? Check. Optics ready? Yep. Steel sight, stainless barrel, Glock mags, textured grip, and front serrations. It ticks so many boxes that even hardcore Glock owners started doing double takes. Sure, it may not be perfect, the trigger's not match grade, and the finish might not survive a war zone, but for what you're paying, it's really criminal. And the reliability? Let's just say it didn't tap out when it went through mud, sand, and a few thousand rounds on more than one torture test. And if you think this is as bold as it gets, wait till you see what's coming at number 5. You ever hear someone say, once I shot the VP9, I sold my Glock the same week? Well, they're not joking. Glock loyalists don't want to admit it, but HK built the VP9 like it was designed to embarrass every plastic pistol Glock's ever put out. The trigger breaks cleaner than a bone in a street fight. Crisp, no slop, no excuses. and when you put 1,000 rounds through it, it tightens up, it doesn't loosen. We're talking better slide machining, better barrel fit, better long-term durability, and somehow it still flies under the radar like it's not the real predator in this fight. You can run it next to a Glock 17 or Glock 19 all day, but in a high-pressure scenario, the VP9 will make the Glock feel like a rental at a strip mall range. And the next pistol on this list? Let's just say it knows it's better than Glock, but it doesn't brag, it proves it. Have you ever held a Glock and felt like that's it? Like the gun's begging for an upgrade, sight, trigger, frame, the whole shebang? That's where Smith & Wesson steps in and punches Glock straight in the teeth with this metal frame M&P 2.0 Compact. This thing doesn't just feel premium, it shoots like it's angry at plastic guns. The slide cycles with weight, the recoil impulse drops flat, and the trigger, it finally bites. No more gummy sponge, just snap, reset, and you're back on target. Stack this next to a Glock 19, and one looks like a stripped down rental, while the other feels like it's rolled out of a tier 1 armory. This pistol wasn't made to compete. It was made to dominate the Glock crowd and make you wonder why you ever spent $600 for a polymer clamshell. But hey, the next pick? It makes even this M&P look a little insecure. You ready for it? There's a new problem on the block, and it's not wearing a G logo. When the X macro dropped, it exposed something Glock fans didn't want to admit. Their favorite compact suddenly felt outdated. Same size frame, but the SIG Holt 17+1 shoots flatter and kicks less, with no red dot wobble and no snappy jump. Glock's 43X, on the other hand, can't compete with this much capacity. The 48 MOS needs upgrades to come close. Even the Glock 19 starts sweating when this thing's on the table. Out of the box, it's built to run hot, with a clean trigger, night sights, built-in comp, and rails ready for duty use. And it's not trying to be flashy, it just quietly outclasses the old favorites. This one wasn't made to impress fanboys, it was made to replace what they thought couldn't be replaced. And if that shook you a little, wait till you meet the next entry. Let's talk dominance. Not hype, not brand worship, just brutal performance that leaves competitors scratching their craniums. The Mete SFX isn't playing backup to anybody, especially not in these overpriced long slide Glocks with underwhelming triggers. This thing eats steel for breakfast at 50 yards and still begs for more. And unlike the Glock 34 or 17L, you don't need to dump half your paycheck into upgrades. It ships with the kind of flat-face trigger and slide cuts that Glock users spend months chasing with aftermarket parts and still don't get it right. It's already optics ready, it's already tuned, it already fits your hand like a custom build. What makes it dangerous? It's not loud about it, it just performs. Better splits, faster target transitions, smoother reset. Some still call it a budget competition gun, which is cute actually. It's already lapping the field while they're stuck polishing polymer frames. Next up, a gun with an old school soul, but a mean streak Glock can't copy. There's a reason this gun still shows up in global military holsters nearly 50 years after it dropped, and it's not nostalgia. The CZ75 wasn't just designed to compete with Glocks, it came long before Glock even existed, and it's still making polymer boys sweat. This thing was a straight up rebel from behind the Iron Curtain. Czechoslovakia dropped it in 1975 when the West wasn't even watching. But fast forward to now, it's still outshooting Glocks in competitions, outlasting them on rental ranges, and outclassing them in accuracy tests when things get real. And here's what Glock fanboys don't want to hear. The CZ75 has tighter tolerances, a smoother ride, and a legacy built on performance, not marketing. It was built when failure wasn't an option, not when plastic was the trend. One guy I met at the range told me he dropped his CZ75 in mud, let it sit for a week, rinsed it off, oiled it, and it fired like it missed him. Try that with your polymer wonder. You think Glock's the standard? The CZ75 was the standard before Glock ever drew a breath. This one didn't just challenge Glock, it replaced it in more than a few showdowns. The Beretta 92FS, or the M9 if you wore the uniform, was the US military sidearm of choice for over 30 years. That's no fluke, mind you. That's battle-tested, war-zone-approved dominance. While Glock built its legacy in the civilian market, the 92FS earned scars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, you name it. It's been sandblasted, drop-tested, and dragged through more hell than most shooters will ever see, and it still goes bang every single time. Where Glocks get praised for simplicity, the Beretta gives you control. A full-sized frame, steel slide, rock-solid lockup, and recoil that stays down like it owes you money. It's heavier, sure, but that's the price of legacy steel, not hollow plastic. This isn't a gun you baby, it's the one you pass down. And while Glock models may dominate gun store shelves today, the next pistol, it's hiding in plain sight, and it might have just done something a Glock couldn't. Nobody expects this one, especially not the Glock guys who think anything below a G43 is too toy-like to be taken seriously. But this Bodyguard, it's not for flexing at the range, it's for one job: disappearing in your pocket and showing up when your life depends on it, and it delivers. You want something smaller than a Glock 42, but without sacrificing the reliability? This one's it. It's not a smooth talker, it's the streetwise loner with nothing to prove and everything to protect. Hammer fired for snag-proof draw, second strike capable, and the double action trigger? Long, yeah, but intentional. It's the kind of resistance that saves you from yourself in high stress. Here's the kicker. The Bodyguard 2.0 rides quiet. It doesn't chase popularity contests, but more and more deep concealment guys are switching from Glocks to this and not looking back. Now, before you rush to conclusions, the final pistol on this list doesn't look like a threat, but it is. This one was never supposed to lead the charge. It was the underdog, priced lower, hyped less, and laughed at by the Glock crowd. But now, it's making quiet chaos in the carry world. The Ruger Max 9 goes head-to-head with the Glock 43X MOS and 48 and punches harder than you'd expect. Optics ready right out of the box, 12+1 capacity in a frame that vanishes inside a basic holster, and trigger feel that honestly shocks people the first time they squeeze it. But here's what nobody talks about. This thing stays on target. While others jump, the Max 9 holds. That flat recoil profile makes it easier to get rounds where you want, faster than most Glocks at its size. It doesn't come from a high pedigree brand, but that's exactly what's making experienced shooters give it a second look and then not give it back. And before you think that's the end, there's still one wild card left. A gun that's not even on most people's radar, but it should be. Now this is the one nobody saw coming. Steyr isn't loud, it doesn't flood the market with influencer hype or ride the wave of mil-spec nostalgia, but the M9-A2 MF, it quietly does something most Glock clones can only dream of. It outperformed the original without copying it. This gun doesn't just feel futuristic, it aims like it's cheating. That ultra-angled grip naturally drives the muzzle down, and once you try that trapezoidal sight picture, you either fall in love or fall behind. And the bore axis? Stupid low. The recoil impulse is so smooth, it almost feels unfair. Built like a tank, carries like a compact, and hits like a full-size. And guess what? Glock had years to do something bold like this, but they didn't. Steyr did, quietly and patiently. And now, this sleeper pistol is starting to shake people out of their comfort zones, and just maybe, this was the Glock killer hiding in plain sight. If you're still clinging to your Glock after this, that's on you, because we just ran through pistols that hit harder, carry better, and shoot flatter, and none of them wear the crown. Glock's good, no doubt about that, but it ain't untouchable. And these guns, they're proof the throne is shaking. This ain't about switching sides, it's about finally seeing the other side. So before you drop another paycheck on a Glock just cause it's safe, do ask yourself, is it the best option out there or just what everyone else settled for? This has been your boy Steve. Hit that like button if this list rattled your bias a little. Drop your pick down below and I'll catch you in the next one. Do stay sharp, amigos.